am Shirish Nene, and on behalf of the Dcsaff Asian Film Festival 2022, or Summerfest, I'd like to welcome our audience and especially our very talented array of filmmakers to this festival. We won't get a chance to meet in person, but I'm sure over the next hour or so, we're going to treat you to a little inside glimpse. Picture for a moment that this group in front of you, along with you, we're all sitting at a Irani cafe in Mumbai. We've got our chai, we've got our bun maska, and we're just going to have a wonderful time. As we start off, first of all, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge all the hard work that goes into making a festival like this. I've been with this festival for about 7 years, and it's gotten better and better. And it's all because of the hard work of the organizers, the sponsors, and the wonderful talent of people like yourselves, our panel members, whom we're about to meet and dive right into things. A quick idea of how this session will take place. We talked about the informal chit chat. I'm going to start off by asking all the filmmakers to give a little quick introduction about themselves and their film. And then we're going to get into a series of questions, which everyone will kind of jump in. And this is going to be kind of riffing off of each other and see where this takes us. Delighted to have you guys. And with that, I'm going to start off from the top of my screen. Lakshmi.
Okay, so my name is Lakshmi R. Iyer. I am from Mumbai. I'm a South Indian and I'm a producer and director. So I run a production house by the name Street Smart Productions. And First Second Chance is my fourth release film, and it's on Hotstar. And also, it's doing really well. It just released a month back on 5th of June on Hotstar. And the film talks about a love story of, an adult couple who are 50 plus who happen to meet in life after, 30 years and in an old age home, and how love, comes back in their life. And, they say sometimes relationships end so that love begins. So there is in the beginning, there is something which happens with the Vaidehi in the movie, and then she finds love in life and hope. And, there is a lot of, so happiness in the film. Because in the lockdown, what I realized is that, we kind of have a lot of sorrow and, sadness around us. So I wanted to make a film which talked about love, hope, and finding love within yourself. You don't need someone to find love. So even at the age of 60 or 50, you don't need someone to find that little hope. So movie talks about that. So that's my film. That's about my film. And Renuka Chahane plays the lead as Vaidehi, and Anant Mahadevan sir, he plays Raman, and many more actors. And it's got a lot of love from India. So I'm very excited that I'm part of this festival. So it's lovely to be here with fellow filmmakers here.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Indrajit, on to you now, a very different type of film.
Hi, yeah. So I'm Indrajit Natoji, and I'm from Mumbai, and I run my own production house, Blink Pictures. So I'm a Master of Design from the National Institute of Design in Ahmedabad, and with specialization in filmmaking, graphic design, and I fancy myself as an artist. So this particular, I've made 2 feature films, which is there on Z5, and one of them was a theatrical release sometime back. So this film is actually the film which is here on this panel is a essentially a music video, and it's a hand painted music video, if I can describe it in that way. It's a Rangi Sari. Rangi Sari is a track. It's a Thumri track. It's a very folk-based Thumri track, which has been electronic infused in a contemporary treatment by Kavita Seth and Kanishk Seth, and in fact, it's become quite a viral hit these days. So this was about 2 years back when Kanishk approached me for a video, and I I love the track, and yeah. So, and he wanted my art to be featured there in some way because he has seen some of my paintings and my art and some of my animations. So yes, so I in return for complete artistic freedom, and I said I'll do what I want. And he said, please be my guest. That is nice of him. So basically the entire film is a series of hand painted effervescent paintings stitched together. And yeah, so it's basically lots and lots of paintings, about 4,000, 5,000 paintings put together. And we'll talk about it more as we proceed. Yeah.
Incredible. Thank you, Indrajit. Anuka, how about you? Tell us a little bit about your film and yourself.
Hi, my name is Anuka Stacey. I am a very recent grad from NYU. And I am what I like to call, well, not just me, but a third culture kid. So I'm from India. I was born in Delhi, but I grew up in Dubai. And then I moved to New York for school, and that's where I'm based now. And my film, Hide and Seek, is it's a poetic exploration of a young girl's struggle to find a space in between her Western upbringing and traditional Indian household. And the way that she does this is through the clothes that she wears. And my film was just born out of my own struggle to find that space and the struggle that I see of my friends around me who felt the same way of kind of, where do I fit in and what am I? Yeah.
And I'm sure many of our audience out here will relate to that very well. Thank you. Now, Viren, you bring another very interesting perspective out here. Tell us about yourself and the Everyday Show.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Great to be here. My name is Shirish Nene. Based in the States in Philadelphia. I'm a full-time software engineer. I kind of just do film and stuff on the side for now. And in the years, I'm hoping to transition it the opposite way. But I'm the writer-director of The Everyday Show. And the premise of the short film is that it's David Letterman meets TMZ in a late night talk show interview that goes the wrong way. It's basically kind of two characters who have like very strong identities and sort of conflict with each other on live television in the world of the film. And it was sort of inspired by just growing up having conflicted identities myself. This was sort of one implementation of that story that I chose to write.
Wonderful. Yeah. An interesting discussion on that topic. Now, moving on, still on the East Coast, Jax, tell us about your film and about you.
Hi, my name's Jax. I made a short documentary called Between Two Worlds. I'm in New York City, and my film is about a group of friends who started a dance group that's a combination of Bollywood and contemporary style dance. And they're one's from India, one's from Pakistan, and one is born here to Indian parents. So they create these dances that really celebrate their culture and then also get kind of serious and work through a lot of trauma and different struggles that they've had in their lives, like domestic violence, depression, suicide, gay love, different kinds of issues like that. So, but also like Lakshmi's very positive experience to watch, uplifting. And, you know, I hear already lots of themes that overlap between us. It's really nice to meet you all.
And as we get through this, you know, we will learn how you manage to pack all of this in under 8 minutes. Very powerful. Like, all of you've done a wonderful job. Now let's go over to the West Coast. And Mansi, tell us about yourself and your film.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mansi Patel. I am based in Los Angeles, California. I grew up in Ahmedabad. I moved over here when I was 19, over 2 decades now. I graduated from Otis College of Art and Design, and I immediately started working on big films. My first film was Avatar, and then from there, Life of Pi, Night and Day, Looper, The Darkest Hour. And then I brilliantly went and got pregnant. So I had to stay home while I was raising my 2 kids. I decided not to work for anybody else and then make my own films. That's when I came up with the idea of Taken for Granted. It is a 13-minute short. It is about a teenage girl from Herat, Afghanistan. It's a small village by the border of Iran and Afghanistan. And she's visiting Kabul with her dad to take part in a robotics competition. And she gets separated in the market of Kabul when the Taliban attack. And the whole story is about what happens after that. Like in that chaos, she gets pushed into like a little enclosed area. And it's about her fighting her own fears and getting out of that place or staying in there. I'll let you guys watch it. So the whole story is about what goes through one's mind when you are in a place of chaos and how do you find your own peace.
Thank you, Mansi. You have some nice little twists that were absolutely delightful in your film, and we'll get to that without giving anything away.
Thank you.
Last but not least, Pradeep, if both of you would introduce yourselves and your film.
Hello. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for in here, Mukesh Prasad with me for supporting me. He's assistant of my film Gajja.
Hey everyone, good evening. Good morning. Actually, there is a language barrier. Sir actually cannot speak much in English, so I'll continue it. Actually, our movie name is To Embarrass. Actually, Sir is not a permanent director. Sir is a maths teacher, and Sir is also a principal of our dance institute called Nritya Bharati, Dumduma. Actually, what happened 2 years ago when lockdown started? So we are all at home. We are just stuck here. So that time thought came into mind that we should utilize this time with good content and good thoughts. Then we will discussing about what should be the topic. What about, because we never made a even documentary movie, even pocket movie. So this is the kind of big opportunity, or kind of big like it's kind of dream come true for making a movie. It's not about like only making a movie. It's about processing a story with a good content. So we were discussing about the content, and also suddenly Sir came with the idea, and Sir said that this should be the topic. Then under the guidance of Sir, we'll manage to do it. And the story is about that the two faces of human nature, human body, you can say. So it's about the two faces. The one face is, so we meet the people in front, and the second one is the hidden side, which we may not open up about, and we cannot talk about that much. So the movie is about that face, how a mother and son relation is all about when something is unusual come in front. So this is all about that, and thank you so much.
Oh, a very powerful story, and we'd love to get more into that as we go along. So now, if we think about any artist, and especially filmmakers, drives, I believe, an artist is this urge or this need to communicate or to connect with your audience, whether you're sharing a message, a thought, or just the pleasure of being able to, get the harmonics of evoking that emotion through your art. What I'd like to have each of you talk about, and we'll go in whichever order, tell me what drives you to make your particular, what drives you to deliver art, to make films, what drives you specifically in respect to this movie. So while we've got you, Mukesh and Pradeep, let's start off with you guys.
Okay, so actually, sir is full-time maths faculty. So that time we will, as I said, we all were stuck at home. So that time, and that because we are dancers, so that artistic nature in us, like it's like, what should we do at that time? Like we cannot go outside, we cannot talk people. So when sir was studying about that topic, like how to present this, how to communicate with the people with this movie. So then sir come up with the idea, and then sir said that like this is the thing that we should talk about. Like people are not understanding here. We are like, it's northeast in India, Assam, called Assam. We are in Assam state. So there is a maximum people are like tribal, and like there is not much like city area people is talking about like full pledge with the anything with. They are very close with each other. But in here, like something unusual is very big thing. So sir said that okay, then we will present this, but not like that, as like we'll say everything, but it just click everyone's head. So sir come up with the idea, and that's why the ending is open. You can see the movie, the ending is open. So I think that will hit the head at that time when movie is ending. So this is all about that, how we have done that in that lockdown period. We started and we thinking, we planning, we executed everything. So this is how we have done that. Thank you.
Okay, now I'm going to ask three of you to, you talked about the immigrant experience. Jax, you have one perspective. Rain, you have yours. And, certainly Anuka, you talked about that. In whichever order, if you tell us about what in this immigrant experience drove you. Anuka, there's something you said about part of it stems from yourself. Within said the same thing. Jax, you gave a different perspective of that. Do you feel that is a major driving force in what brings you forward as a filmmaker?
I can talk about that really quick.
Yeah.
So for me, it's primarily two things. One, I'm primarily an actor, or I started as an actor. And for me, the biggest thing was growing up while watching more American or Western TV. I never saw people that looked like me or that had similar family stories to me or represented me in any way authentically. So that was one big reason that when I discovered my passion for the arts and filmmaking, I was like, that's something that I feel the responsibility to do, because I want girls like me to grow up seeing that, because it really impacted the way that, one, I saw myself, to the way I interacted with my other Indian peers, but also my white peers and all of that. And I think it was very important to have grown up having solid representation. And then the other thing that drives me, like I was saying earlier, is my own struggle at finding that middle ground. And I see it in my friends too, whether they have the same culture as me or not. And I think especially this film was born out of trying to figure it out, and seeing the response to it and seeing people watch it and feel like, yes, this is what I wanted, like this is what I feel. And it's amazing to see it put into words is what drives me. That's why I want to do what I do, because that's what I was craving growing up, and knowing that I am capable of doing that for other people is what really drives my work.
So in doing this, have you started getting some of the feedback from some of your friends, your audience? You've seen that, you know, when I listen to this kind of thing, it always reminds me of that Hindi song that starts off, "Mujhe kuch kehna hai," and they reply with, "Mujhe bhi kuch kehna hai," and then it just grows into something beautiful. So, what's been your experience as people have seen this and, you know, relating to it?
My experience honestly has been overwhelming joy. It's been insane how many people have seen it that I don't even know, that, you know, my mom, being the Indian mom that she is, sent it to everybody and was like, look at this.
There you go.
Before it was even, before I was submitting to festivals, a bunch of people saw it and they all sent me messages, a lot of people that I don't know, being like, it's very poignant and like very authentically captures the way all of us feel. And not even people just my age. Like when I was making it, I was thinking it was people within my generation. As I said, third culture kids, lots of people are now growing up differently, in a different place than where they were born, and like all of that. So I thought it was my generation that was going to come back to me and be like, yes, because I knew they felt the way that I did out of all the conversations that I've had. But it was surprising to me how many older people, like my parents' age, who had also immigrated or left India or Pakistan or wherever to move abroad, also related to it a lot. And I think that was really surprising, but very special to me, because it's not something that I expected or realized. But that was incredible. The film actually just had its world premiere at the London Indian Film Festival.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And the response I got there was also insane. One of the programmers that was the reason that my film got into the festival, I was talking to him and he was like, I feel like you put in 10 words what I've been trying to, or in 10 minutes, sorry, what I've been trying to say and figure out for 10 years. So I think that's been incredibly special. And I feel very proud of myself and all of the people that were involved in the team, since I had a very small group of people help me make this. It was like 15 of us. So I'm very proud of all of them, and I couldn't have made it without them. So overwhelming joy is how I'll do.
All of you should be proud of yourselves. Now, Viren, you gave another dimension to this immigrant struggle of identification. What part of that drove you from your own personal experience?
We are just trying to create something where we see ourselves. And that's always the primary driving force. This is my 4th short film. And they've all been in some capacity about identity. Whether it's like, this one is probably the most overt about South Asian identity of the 4 that I've made. But that's always just a common theme. And I mean, that's definitely just very highly correlated to the fact that I was born in India. I moved to the States when I was young. And so I've always sort of lived 2 lives, 2 different families, you know, my actual family, and then like my friends as my chosen family. And they're just 2 different worlds that you have to bridge. And, you know, growing up, my parents did not have any sort of blueprint for how to do that or how to raise a kid in that kind of environment. So everyone's kind of figuring out for themselves, and, you know, mistakes are made and successes are also made. And so all that sort of culminates into this.
Now, when I was reading about your background, you talked about some of the things that inspired you. It's sometimes you connect with your audience, I feel, with you sending in this message of your experience, but you also like, whether it's the action films, the Jackie Chan's, the Bollywood, what's your favorite way of connecting with your audience? Is it the messaging? Is it just evoking that response through entertainment? What drives you?
Yeah, so I'm primarily, I describe myself as a writer first and a director by necessity. I'm kind of very protective of my scripts, for better or for worse. But I connect through stories. I'm a big endings guy. If if the movie's okay, but you really stick the ending, that's kind of what I walk away with. And vice versa. If the movie's great, but you don't stick the ending, then I walk away with kind of a iffy taste in my mouth. And so for me, that's usually the biggest thing that I'm looking for, is no matter sort of what the story is, whether it's slow build up or like a very quick kind of thing, I'm always trying to like nail the ending at the end so that people sort of walk away feeling that, hey, like that was worth my time at the very least.
And you talk about being a full-time IT professional. You bring a very systematic, analytical kind of approach to your films. How does that work?
Yeah, I'm very, I guess I'm very iterative with what I do. Like I like script after script is like draft after draft of each script is just I try to build on whatever feedback I get. And I'm also, I don't know, I think the biggest thing, because I don't come from a film background, the biggest thing is like when I'm on set, I just try to keep it as stripped down as possible. If I don't, I don't need 20 crew members to do something, so I won't go try to hire them. Because to my computer science mind, it's just like, that's just inefficient. So why would I do it? And so that's kind of that's the biggest part when it comes into play, is like keeping things stripped down, keeping the production stripped down as possible, and just keeping things moving. And not so much when I write, but also when I direct, my whole methodology is to just keep going. Like whether if there are mistakes in the take, don't stop and just keep going, finish the take until somebody says cut. Because at the end of the day, that'll give me all the options I need once it comes time to edit. So that's probably the biggest thing. That's probably the biggest overlap.
Wonderful. Now, continuing on the immigrant experience theme and finding yourself, Jax, tell us about what attracted you to this particular topic, what drives you in general.
So this film is about a community that I'm a part of. So I've been dancing, doing Bollywood dance in New York for, I don't know, 15, 20 years. And my career is as an editor. So a film editor. So I think that what drives me are kind of two things, one from each side. I think I was getting a little frustrated with the editing work that I was getting, and I wanted to have something that I really wanted to cut. And then I have just been so fulfilled and thrilled by my experience in this community, and I wanted to celebrate that. And I think that a lot of people in my circle, in other circles, sort of like work circles maybe, would come to performances and kind of get an insight into another world that is so beautiful, and such a beautiful storytelling mechanism, and it just feels like a perfect fit.
Yeah, what I found really intriguing is you've brought so much information in those under 8 minutes. Not filmmaking stuff. Yeah, exactly. Now, when you talk about being an editor, a lot of these pieces come together. Very nicely done. And it's so many different
Thank you.
techniques. Like throughout this group, I've noticed you've got, all of you have so many different artistic talents. Jax, you bring the dance and your troupe, everyone comes expression through that. You add to that your filmmaking, editing talents, and all culminates in Here's the Immigrant Experience. What's your reaction been from your viewers, your audience?
Just so excellent. I mean, really, really wonderful. The film premiered in October at the Boston Asian American Film Festival, and we won the audience award, which was really great, like really exciting to have such a good, so this is my first film as a filmmaker. So it's all new and kind of overwhelming and confusing. So that was really nice. And I actually had some problems with my online. And so I had submitted to some festivals and then I took a big pause. So after October, there's been a big break, and now starting to screen again. And it's great. It's so nice to like I was saying before, a lot of overlapping themes of just having representation of a community that I love and am a part of, but maybe don't look like, but has been so welcoming to me to be able to sort of share that visibility and people react to it, across the spectrum. Like I have a friend whose parents are from France, and she has this really strong reaction to it, even though, it's a different kind of immigrant experience or first gen. And and the dancers love it. I mean, that they're the things that inspire me. I mean, for sure, the dancers and my team. It's hard. It's really, really hard making a film, and I've worked for a lot of filmmakers who haven't finished, and it's so hard to finish. And I have so much more empathy for them now. And but my dancers and my team, I will not let them down. Like I just have to finish. So yeah, they're my inspiration.
Well, thank you. But talking about how hard things are and finding that strength, Mansi, your character talks about something her father says, and that is the hardest walk you take is the one you take alone. But and I'm paraphrasing, that's the one that gives you the most strength.
Yeah.
That's the theme that I see throughout your short film, Taken for Granted. Is that what drives you in sharing this message, this inspiration? I know your films are about diversity, about the strong feminine experience. Tell us what makes you tick? What makes you make such good films?
First of all, thank you. All my stories, all my films are female-centric.
Yep.
I'm a big advocate about making female-centric, strong stories. So, and they all have a message. So this film actually was inspired by the actual girls robotic team from Afghanistan. They took part in the international robotics team that took the competition was in Washington, D.C. in 2017. So they had to go through a lot of struggles just to get to the competition. And then their visas got denied twice. And then Ivanka Trump had to jump in and grant them visas and stuff like that. But so I had read that article back in 2017, 18. And it just struck with me. And that was a time when I had my daughter. So for me, it was very personal kind of a thing that, we are living in a place where we are so fortunate that we don't have to think twice about what our daughter's going to be or what they're going to do, versus that small little part of the world where girls are not even allowed to wear certain things, not look a certain way, not do certain things. So that's something that just struck with me. So, and all my stories, basically, they don't end on the big screen. I can take them beyond and help So for example, with the whole girls robotics team last year, when the Taliban took over the country, they all got dispersed. So some of them ended up, 9 of them ended up in Doha, Qatar. 6 of them are in Mexico on a temporary visa, and then the rest of them are here in the US. The ones in the US actually ended up like getting scholarships from MIT and like I think Princeton and like other colleges. But the ones in Mexico are stuck there because they don't know what they're going to do with their lives. The ones in Qatar, Doha, they actually are in good schools. They have scholarships and everything. The one common factor amongst all these 20 plus girls that I have been following have been saying is that once they finish their education, they want to go back to Afghanistan. They don't want to stay anywhere else. They want to go back there. They want to contribute. They want to create their country. And there's one thing that struck with me, which says that they are so much more than a country of terrorists. So, and that's just a powerful thought. Like these are young girls, like anywhere between 12 and 18 years of age. So when I look at that, I was like, I wish my daughter grows up and says something like that to me. So that's where my inspiration comes from.
And in connecting with your audience, how do you feel you've been able to connect with your audience, the feedback that you get?
It has been surprisingly very good because many of you don't know, the film is actually in Farsi and I don't speak a word of Farsi. So I wrote the script in English. I hired a professor who used to teach at the University of Iran, and she moved here. Somehow I connected with her and she translated the whole script for me in Farsi. So I hired Persian actors who knew how to read and talk in Farsi. So I literally had to like learn with them. So that was quite challenging. And I wasn't sure how the whole subtitle would go with the audience, but I am very, very happily surprised. It has screened over about 32 film festivals around the world, won 15 plus awards. So I'm happy where I am.
I'm impressed. I thought you already had some background in Farsi, and that's how you're able to get the dialogues. Impressive.
A lot of Indian languages, but not Farsi.
So now you talked about the subtitles. Those were essential to that. Now I'm going to jump over to Indrajit, who deliberately decided this is visual storytelling and I'm not going to use subtitles. In your particular context, tell us about you have such a diverse background. You're an artist. You've done TV commercials. You've done, 3 feature films right now. So you
2.
2. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the third one is coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah.
So what you've done out here, you talked about the Tumri, and if I were Timothy Leary and I'm giving my age away, I would relate to you immediately. The whole psychedelic experience of taking the music, the Tumri, and those vibrant colors, they just come all together. You have the VFX background as well. What is it that drives you? You have like yet another dimension in all this filmmaking that you bring about. Tell us about what's driving you there, how you bring all these diverse talents together to make your films.
Yeah, so the problem with me is that a lot of things drive me. Right? I mean, too many things drive me, and I'm pretty driven. And I'm a happy guy, and I like to celebrate everything mostly, and be it my life, be it my work, be it my team, and I feel that I have a lot of stories and I have a lot of things to say to the world to share. So medium is not really the message for me, and that's something. It comes from my design school background in NID. Like I can choose a particular way to tell my story or to express my celebration. It can be animation, it can be painting, it can be a drawing, it can be film, it can be a commercial. but yeah, the story or the idea or music drives me a lot. Yeah, that has to resonate first. So the track Rangi Sari by Kavita Seth and Kanish Seth, you must have heard of Kavita Seth. She's quite a
Yes.
she's a Sufi singer and she's very famous in the Bollywood circles. That track actually revived my love for contemporary electronic music and Indian classical music. And I've grown up in a household of music and art. So, and it was completely a passion project. Bread and butter, I earn through my commercials and my thing. But this is something which, it just, I earn my soul, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So the music track is a electronica infused traditional Thumri vocal genre. Thumri is a vocal genre of Indian music, which has its roots in folk. If you see, and the way Kanish and Kavita has rendered it's fantastic. So that connected immediately. So it's an animated music video, but I call it hand painted film because it's a lot of my. It's just an excuse for me to splatter paint on paper, and I've done a lot of the frames was created digitally also in Procreate, but I did not use any software, if you know what I mean. I did not use any VFX. It was all painstakingly painted. So I had that.
Wow.
I put that discipline in myself because especially in NID, we were not allowed to near a computer till my 4th year or something. We didn't even know what a computer was. We did typography hand done. Everything was paper, pencil. That was the discipline. So it was good to go back to that roots of painting and art. So it's a celebration of art and celebration of music. But having said that, the song itself is like Thumri is actually from the word Thumakna. Thumakna is like you walk with the dancer's gait. You know, and it's Thumri is also connected to dance. So the entire, I felt that, and it's a very sensuous song. If you see, there's not much to translate. Like you said, that I did not want to put subtitles because I wanted people to just look at my paintings, or look at that celebration, rather than start reading what is being sung. Music is universal. You really don't need to listen to the lyrics. You just go with the flow. It's like a feeling. It's like, you immerse yourself in that sound and music. And so I did not want anybody to be distracted by the meaning of the word, but I wanted them to feel the film rather than pass on information on what is happening on screen. So feel it. So yeah, there's also, I'm not a religious person, but there's also a very interesting subtext of Lord Krishna, if you see,
right.
Because he symbolizes the celebration of love, his Leela, his play. Yeah. So if you see, there's an obvious male is in blue and the female is in Rangi Sari, Gulabi. Gulabi is fuchsia, pinks, and warm hues. So the female is, and it's a coming of age of a young girl who's fallen in love and who's discovering herself, and maybe love is evolving her into the woman that she will be at some point, And the male, and here the paintings or the film is all about rising in love. You don't fall in love, you rise in love. And if you see in the end, if you see the film, the male colors are transfused to the female, and the female. So it's like almost like a duality of gender. All of us have the opposite gender in us, and that's what makes us whole. That whole Ardhanarishwar in Indian thing of man and woman, the duality of gender. All those things. Those things. But frankly, I did not think so much when I was doing it, I was just painting, and I was having a lot of fun. It took me 4 to 5 months, 6 months. So I was at that point in time, I was shooting my feature film. So I used to carry my sketchbooks and my iPad, and I kept doing these frames, and so it took me about 4 to 5 months, and yeah, then I edited the whole thing, stitched all the paintings together. It was based on a choreograph. I edited a choreographed dance first, and I call it artistic rotoscopy. So those were my references, the video. Then I took those frames and I painted over them, and and made them impressionistic and abstract, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
And the result is this wonderful collage, right? You've got the old for Krishna or the traditional folklore. You've got electronica coming in.
Yes.
Colors, like your paintings, hand painting, the traditional style coming in into like you called it, a hand painted film. It's I have to ask you, the model for your dancer, was she the young lady from the Water Girl fragrance commercial?
No.
She looks so similar, right?
Yeah, she does. Yeah. I know. That's a good observation. That's a good connect. But no, it was actually a collection of some dance choreography I had shot, and some from footage, and I created I edited out a sequence, and then I completely abstracted that. So I didn't have budgets to actually shoot. I would have loved to do that, because that was my original idea, to actually design a choreography for this film with a single dancer. But I mean, we didn't have the cost didn't allow. So me for doing that. So I just edited out the footage that I had, and I created a story. It's almost like editing a documentary, like I'm telling a story with random footage. I did that and then started painting. Yeah.
The old threads weaving a new tapestry makes me think of Lakshmi's film, First Second Dance. I mean, you're with some very strong actors. I had the privilege of interviewing Anand for our literary festival with his book that came out. But you've made other films as well, like Appa.
Yeah.
Tell us what is the driving force for you? What makes you make films, produce or direct?
So there is a very interesting backstory to Appa, because it's my first film. So Appa is very close to my heart because it is my story and my relationship with my dad. It is inspired from my own life. So I was working in IBM Dubai back then in 2017, and I was making a lot of money. And I had worked in the industry because I was modeling when I was in my 20s, and and I started assisting behind camera and doing production in the films along with, because I wanted to be always busy and learn stuff. So when I was in Dubai, I had the money. I said, I want to tell stories, because the idea of filmmaking is all of us can tell the same story in a different vision, different way. That is the beauty of filmmaking. We have our own way of telling stories, and the visual medium is so strong that you can really influence people and you can change lives. For example, when in the First Second Chance, the one message that I keep getting a lot of messages, is that someone had a breakup recently and was in depression, and the person messaged me saying that, I saw your film, and I was really low for a week, and after watching your film, I feel I should give my life a second chance and just look ahead. So such messages make you very happy, because you are making a difference to someone's life, and it is a huge thing. I'm all about human stories. So Appa, Wrong Mistake, Season with Love. I also started a YouTube channel of my own, by my own name. So Season with Love, the one film before First Second Chance, released just before lockdown in 2019, and I didn't produce it. Someone else produced and I directed, and it got 93 million views organically on YouTube. As a filmmaker, acceptance, probably I'm going to touch 100 million in next 6 months. So it is such a big high, because end of the day we're making films so that people watch, and if you get the acceptance, the whole thrill is that you're happy. And apart from Anand sir, Renuka Shahane, Rasul Pukuti, who's an Academy winner, he's done the sound design. So, there were some really great people on the film, and I'm so glad that, all of them were a part of it. And I also started ad films right now, and the next step is to make movies. And so it's all, gives it the confidence to tell stories, and whether short or long, the idea is to, present something which you believe in, and you want, visual mediums are very strong. So, you can really, really connect with your audience, and entertainment is something we all want, and lockdown proved it. Our OTT platforms got so much of, space, and all of us have, grown because of the 2 years in a very good way, how we used it. I did a course in IIT Mumbai on digital marketing. So, for learning more YouTube stuff and stuff like that. So there is so much all of us have, and I'm so glad to see so many female filmmakers here, because I really, really tell people that, in India, that I want a lot of women to make movies, music, editing, all that. And it is lovely to see a panel of having more women than men. I'm so glad. And I'm so excited to watch that for the first time, on a personal level. It's just lovely.
One of the things that's also refreshing about your movie, you see so many movies that come out today which tend to glorify some of the gore, the violence, and there's a place for that. You enjoy that, but it's just refreshing to have a basic feel-good movie. Looking at Anand's role made me think so much about Amol Palekar, and things like Choti Si Baat and things like, the almost anti-hero, the almost down, the underdog coming in, finding himself, getting that acceptance, beautifully portrayed.
So, I learned, because both Renuka Shahane and Anand Madhavan are filmmakers also, and they are like national award winner director producers, So for me, I learned along with just making a movie, it's not just I made a film. So they are directors, actors. It's not that they're going to put their head in anything. They're like, you make the movie the way you want. We are there. And they're such, great actors. You don't have to tell them much. They understand it so well that, it becomes all the more easy for a director. And he was like, you better make a good film. He told me a lot of times, although in a good way, he's sometimes very strict also. And I said, I'm going to do my best. And First Second Chance was all about being simple. I wanted to make a simple film. And I wanted to tell a story in a very linear, simple way. This is how life is. And it was inspired also from my parents' love. I celebrate the love that generation has. The love today is love at first wipe. That's how the generation has.
I can remember that.
Yes, that's how it is now. And I think the meaning of love is what I'm trying to tell through the film. And I think it's come out well. And I've involved 3 generations: grandkid, the son, and the parents. And all of them, all generations have liked it. And so it's just wonderful, that it has come out this way. The way it has come out. And music. There's a song in the film. It's a 24-minute film. So people, even after watching 24 minutes, I've heard from the review that why did you end? It should be longer. I said, it's a short film. I can't be making a 1-hour film. This is more than enough. So there is a good review, and there is acceptance. And as long as you can hold on to the audience and convey the message, film should make you happy, sad, or give you a message, whatever it is, an emotion has to be evoked. And I think it is so powerful, and all of us are blessed to be able to do that, making a movie and releasing it. I think it's a big task, like Jack mentioned. So just the idea of being able to tell a story, and being able to, you have to have confidence that you have to believe in your story, first of all, for anyone else to believe in that. So, the whole process is beautiful. So, it's just, all of us are lucky and blessed, I think, to be a part of filmmaking. In any case, it's the best profession ever.
Wonderful. So, you touched on an important point. You said you started your YouTube channel. You've got 93 million views already. That talks about the democratization that's happened to filmmaking through technology. You've got so many different aspiring filmmakers. I'm going to ask, we've got just a few minutes left, but any parting words from all of you with your experience to the many people who are getting out of maybe their full-time IT jobs within, or, from different walks of life, coming in, getting into films. What has this film or your experience taught you? What message would you share to filmmakers, aspiring filmmakers?
I can jump in. The big thing that I've learned, being someone who sort of still plays both roles, is that to don't forget to take time for yourself. I found it very easy to burn out because I would just be working 8 hours a day, staring at a computer, coding, and then switching over to another computer and writing. And that's not a very healthy lifestyle. So you just gotta, no matter what the goal is, it'll still be there. But just remember to take time for yourself so that you can keep creating at your best.
We would like to conclude is as we had our movie, we have had mentioned there that the relationship about anyone, like friends, mother, sons. So it's not about that what we accept from our son, our friend. It's not about expectations. So this is all about what they want to do, what actually they are. So that was our theme, and that's our message, that we should everyone should go to, live their life with what they want, what they are, and how they want to do anything. So that was our message about that our movie. So thank you so much.
Yes.
I want to know. Actually, my movie theme is जो जैसा है उनको वही पोजीशन में एक्सेप्ट करना चाहिए, तब ये लाइफस्टाइल एक सुंदर हो जाता है. ओके, पेरेंट्स और स्टूडेंट का बीच में, ओके, पेरेंट्स एंड सन डॉटर का बीच में यही रहता है क्या मेरा सन डॉक्टर बने, इंजीनियर बने, जो भी हो. मगर ये बात नहीं, क्योंकि सभी एक यूनिक पर्सन होता है, वो यूनिक सोल है, तो वो सोल में भी कुछ मांगता है, तो उनको उनका सोल के हिसाब से आगे बढ़ाने से क्या होता है, ये लाइफ एक सुंदर सा ब्यूटीफुल लाइफ बन जाता है. यही है.
बहुत खूब. Or an example of what you just said can be seen on this panel. It's no longer, yes, you have to be a doctor, you've got to be an engineer, you've got to be a lawyer. Congratulations to all of you in expressing yourselves and who you are. Some of you have had the family support to do that. Some of you have had to forge that path on your own. Whichever way, kudos to you. All of you have done such an outstanding job. We've thoroughly enjoyed watching all of your films. And I know our audience for this film festival are going to enjoy them tremendously. Keep doing what you do. You've done a wonderful, wonderful job. Looking forward to watching them on the big screen in person again on the film festival. And to our organizers, thank you so much. Each year it gets better and better because of all the hard work you do. The team, the sponsors, you make it happen. And the people who ultimately make this happen are you, our viewers in the audience, who come in and support and watch these films and enjoy it. And I know many of you have gone back and made your own films, but continue what you do in supporting this talented group out here. And I look forward to seeing you July 16th and 17th in the actual film festival. Folks, thank you very much for a very delightful discussion and sharing your talents and your thoughts here.
And thank you, Shirish. You've been a wonderful moderator, and it was fantastic talking to you. Thank you so much for having us.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you. Can't wait to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm here.